Welcome to Facebook for the Blind, your look at the downfall of Western civilization through the best memes we can find each week. Ladies and gentlemen, both and neither, it's that time of the week we like to celebrate Facebook for the Blind, a show for the visually and Facebook impaired. I'm your never humble host, Eric Sizemore, full of rage and not sure this is the best way to cope with it by doing this show, joined by my beautiful co-host, Quiet Michael from South Canada.
This has all been a terrible mistake.
And dial it in from the left coast, Brain Damage.
Yo.
Hey, Brain.
Hey.
And we are going to have some funny memes for you. But first, a trademark, patented, copyrighted, absolutely essential part of every single episode of Facebook for the Blind. You know it. You love it. I'm talking about the depressing news.
We're number one.
Made possible in part by the Corporation for Public Pink Guillotines, a private corporation funded by the American people and by viewers like you. Thank you. A lot of crazy crap going on, man. I gotta tell you, where we left off in our news story, we had Marines in LA sleeping on the floor because they weren't really being provided for, and that felt very disrespectful. Also, we had a bunch of dipsticks like Representative Jim Jordan saying, "We fly the American flag in America," which is funny because at the door of his office, he has an Israeli flag. So Gavin Newsom was trolling saying flags like this, and he's got all the flags at January 6th. So that was pretty fun, that little thing. Tulsi Gabbard, who's our director of national intelligence, I guess. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's happening over there, to be honest. Gabbard admits that she just fed the JFK files into an AI program to ask if there was anything that should remain classified. Which, I mean, that's how am I supposed to tell the kids in the library not to cheat on their homework using AI when the director of national? Oh, forget it. Moving on. Also wanted to remind you that last week ICE, who has basically given up finding criminals because there aren't any, has decided to just hang out at Home Depot and stuff like that. Breaking news today: apparently they showed up at Flexingate. Apparently they were tipped off because by the time it gets to me posting it on Facebook, everybody knows. Come on, man, everybody knows. So they cleared out and apparently hit the Casey's. Yes, that's right. If you're an immigrant and you're working at Casey's, sorry about your day with the ICE. ICE, it's for my horchata, not supposed to be in my Casey's. Moving on. Jim Narikas brings us this report from the Washington Post, which apparently appears to blame a U.S. senator for being assaulted by the Department of Homeland Security goons at a news conference. Don't know if you remember. Democrat Alex Padilla, the Post says, he appeared to disrupt Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem's event focused on the Los Angeles protests. California's other senator called for Noem's resignation. But just to be clear there, he was the disruptive one. This was right after she had said, we're going to basically, get rid of their socialist, democratically elected leaders and take over a coup. She just basically said, we're throwing a coup. We're throwing a coup. And then they tackled the senator from the district. And thank goodness he's not one of the octogenarians, so he wasn't terribly hurt. Yay. Also, every once in a while you hear people talking about playing the world's tiniest violin. Look at this. Researchers at Loughborough University, someplace, made a 35 by 13-inch micron violin made out of platinum, and that is sitting on a human hair. So if you're ever wondering about the world's tiniest violin, there it is. There it is. Showcasing the university's new nanolithography system. That's pretty cool. This one was posted in the Heart of the TARDIS, not my normal source for news, but I thought this was pretty trendy. Coast Guard vet.
Heart of
the TARDIS.
Chart of the hardest.
Okay. Total eclipse of the TARDIS heart. Coast Guard vet lured her accused rapist to the woods, executed him, and then went to get a tattoo. And
hell yeah.
Friar of the show, Father Nathan Monk says, "What tattoo did she get?" Kathy O'Connor wasn't happy about that. She said, "Not today, Satan." I didn't see what Father Nathan Monk said back, but probably might be today. Friend of the show, Jeffrey St. Clair. Jeff, thanks for the beers. Even though I don't drink them, but it was very nice of you to pile them up on the table across from me. He said the return of fusion politics because Thomas Massey, not a friend of the show, says this is not our war, but if it were, Congress must decide such matters according to our Constitution. I'm introducing a bipartisan war resolution tomorrow to prohibit our involvement. I invite all Congress members to co-sponsor this resolution. And then AOC says signing on. And I'm like, wow, going to war in the Middle East. That's what can bring people together. Who knew? Who knew? I had no idea. Hey, in a totally normal weather report, Alaska just hit a climate milestone, its first ever heat advisory. You know how the sun stays up for 24 hours a day there? Yeah, 24 hours at 110 degrees. What do you think that would be like? How fun would that be? So, Alaska, totally normal climate.
I'm against this, Eric.
I know. Your state, South Canada, had some terrible things going on. And then immediately the right wing pundit sphere broke out. MAGA senator mocked for absurdly calling a Democrat assassin Marxist. Musk slammed for calling anti abortion Dem killer far left. Yeah, no, this guy was definitely a Trump supporting prickhead.
He
Hey,
definitely was, and it doesn't matter.
it does not matter. It doesn't. That was one thing that I did like. A lot of the salient points that comedians made were, hey, who cares? If you
Yeah.
are a murdering assassin, I don't actually care what's in your
Yeah.
manifesto.
Right. And I don't care if he was a Shriner either.
Yeah,
Like,
don't care.
there's no, why are you telling me
Yeah.
weird facts about him or
Nope.
making up weird facts?
Yep. Just want to hear
Weird
that he's
nonsense.
caught. Just want to hear that he's caught. Want to
Yeah.
hear that he's been detained and that some potential for justice remains. Jeff St. Clair again talking about the war in Iran, made in the USA. Says our tangerine toddler in chief says we now have complete and total control of the skies over Iran. Iran has good sky trackers and other defensive equipment. Blah 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 blah. Nobody does it better than the good old USA. It's like okay, Jeffrey comments Bush didn't gloat like this until 6 weeks after shock and awe, but this guy got, and then he got his ass kicked from Mosul to Fallujah for the next 5 years. But this guy's like, right today, we're winning. So winning.
We
Crazy.
did not get our asses kicked. I was there.
First 5 years?
No, we did not get our asses kicked. That is not fair.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Listen, I'm not going to get into specifics, but in historical terms, Iraq was what's called a low-cost war for the United States, no matter how you slice it.
All righty. Yep. Fair enough. All right. Friend of the show, Jessica says, remember, Americans, you're getting sicker and poorer as your government deprives you of even the bare minimum social safety nets in other countries that they get to have while sending the Marines to quash protests in LA. So it's very important that you get very, very angry at Iran.
Mm-hmm.
It's from Caitlin Johnstone, which I agree. Hey, but in good news, Brent Terhune posted this lovely picture of the tangerine toddler, extremely unhappy at his big boy quinceanera. Just not looking happy at all. And friend of the show, Brent Terhune says, "How I look through the glass at the salad bar when the pudding's all gone." And Lori Dawn Cartwright says, "That's a poop face. I remember it clearly from when I had babies. The guy behind him looks like a dad who knows it's going to be a blowout." Look at him, total state of denial. That's fix your jaw, Bob. Don't let anyone see you flinch. Okay, moving on. I'm surprised he didn't show up in full on, Libyan Muammar Gaddafi, like dress fake general. This one in particular I liked is pretty good. Tangerine toddler in general's uniform, and you notice that all the medals and buttons are McDonald's characters. So he's got several Happy Meals and a couple Grimaces, a couple Hamburglers here. Big boy buttons. The real news, of course, was that millions of people across the United States showed up
what is it?
in protests.
Sorry, Eric.
Yeah. And this is true even here in Springfield, Illinois. Friend of the show, Rochelle, says people came, wrapped all the way around the state capitol, honks of solidarity. A couple gallery visitors allowed me to step across the street to take photos and be a part of it for a few minutes. And you can see them surrounding our state capitol. I was at several of the protests. They in Urbana, they were fantastic. Huge turnout, 5,000 people in Urbana. Friend of the show, Keith Bergman, has a photo of the Tangerine Toddlers quinceanera again here, and there is nobody in the stands. And in quotes, it says, "You should have been here last Reich." That was pretty. Nobody in the stands. The Resistance has posted 0 days without being a worldwide embarrassment. There are no Kings protests in San Diego, and the streets are just covered wall to wall in easily. That is 30,000 people just in the shot. That's 30,000 people just in that picture, and it cuts off. It's a solid wall of people on either side. Meanwhile, the empty streets of our dear leader's empty birthday parade. Just astounding. And Neurodivergent Rebel just said, it's so empty. But of course, that didn't stop the administration from claiming it was 200,000 people, which is not true. Friend of the show, Seth Abrams, I don't know, says, breaking Trump's orders, the U.S. Armed Forces are detaining U.S. citizens outside an invocation of the Insurrection Act for the first time in U.S. history. And I found out they detained a veteran outside the Veterans Administration. So good on you, boys. This was an interesting tactic I saw posted that was fun. There was a guy, a protester, who was surrounded by cops, and he used his phone, used an app to look up each cop by their badge number and then yell out to the crowd if they've ever been suspended or sued for abusing their authority. He's just like, $80,000? That's no chump change here, man. Officer Lugo, what the fuck? He's just like, oh, you handcuffed someone, and then while they were detained, you sprayed them in the eyes with tear spray. $80,000, Officer Lugo. And I was like, oh, that's great. That's actually pretty baller. That's a baller move. I like that move. I don't know if I could do that move, but that's a baller move. Friend of the show, David Sinclair. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, guys. I lean on this guy, but he does buy me beers. What can I say? He says, make them stop. 6 Democrats just voted to confirm Gary Andres, RFK Jr.'s anti-public health pick, to serve as Assistant Secretary of Health and Human Services. This is Maggie Hassan, Democrat of New Hampshire, Jean Shaheen, of Democrat of New Hampshire, Raphael Warnock, Democrat from Georgia, who I think owes us, Pete Welch, Democrat from Vermont, and Sheldon Whitehouse, Democrat from Rhode Island. Damn it. Dude, he's one of the few that I kind of liked. Okay? I don't know what's going on in New England. I don't know what's in their water. I don't know what's happening. Jeff St. Clair, last time, I swear to God, must be, of course. In Israel, just a day before Israel's strike in Iran, the opposition was plotting to oust Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. But now, amid this operation, they have shelved criticism and closed rank behind him. So if ever you are, the subject of a plot to oust you, maybe you can bring up a war with Iran again, like he does every few weeks or so, which a lot of people noted. I lied. Jefferson St. Clair, one more time. Brad Lander, comptroller of New York City and New York Times endorsed mayoral candidate for New York City, was just arrested by ICE at the immigration court. So, okay, that's a lot of terribleness. And I know you're like, Eric, why you tell us all this? Well, that's because when I go over to CBS Evening News on Facebook, they are talking about General Mills discontinuing 3 varieties of Cheerios. So what do you want? Okay, you want the real news, or you want cereal news? For Katie's screaming out cereal news. Well, it's not a democracy. It's a dictatorship, clearly. So, seriously, in the span of about 72 hours, a sitting senator was thrown to the ground, handcuffed, asked a question at a press conference. A cabinet official said federal troops were deployed to liberate L.A. From its elected leaders. Active duty Marines detained a U.S. citizen on American soil. A right-wing assassin murdered a Minnesota lawmaker. Then Republicans shamelessly lied about it. Tanks rolled down the streets of Washington, D.C. at the president's big birthday. And the president threatened to get us mired in yet another disastrous war in the Middle East, and then posted an insane screed ordering federal agents to go after Democratic power centers. Oh, and then he introduced a smartphone that comes in gold called Trump Mobile. Woo, hey, here in town, though, man, they were filming. at the Harvest Market south of town. So the movie crew was there along with Judy Greer and John Goodman. So they were at our grocery store down there. That's pretty, how fun is that? People were really excited about down at Harvest Market. And we usually like to close out with a nice heartwarming animal story, but I didn't have one. So here's Kristen at the last drag show getting money shoved in her boobs. Says, it's always a great time when money's being shoved down my shirt. Once again proving that comedy has terrible rituals for extracting cash. Was going to talk to you about this cool black Sulawesi black sailfin dragon, but I couldn't find anything good on it. So instead, I had to show you Andrew Hicks as a new member of the family, introducing Saturn Hicks, 4-year-old orange female, acclimating well and hanging out in the house. Newest addition to the Hicks family, Saturn Hicks. That was
I don't believe that newest member of the family has been christened by the family minister. So sounds like I need to make another trip to Champaign-Urbana.
I think so, man. And I mean, I didn't even bring up the robot dogs in all the parades, man. That was really sad. I mean, I almost threw that as an animal story. There were robot dogs. That's what everybody talked about in the military parade. Robot dogs.
Two things. I would never want a robot for a dog. And if I was going to have a robot, I wouldn't want it to act like a dog.
Right? Yeah. I got other stuff to do.
I don't want that in either direction.
Nope. I concur. And that is all the news worth reporting. Swear to God. And everything funny that I could find. I think my favorite thing was Seth Meyers talking about like it's fun that even if you have unlimited wealth and power and you're the most powerful leader in the whole world, you still can't make people come to your birthday party. Because it's the most American thing ever. And as a person who has bowled alone on his birthday. No, it was a very American thing. I was like, that's pretty good, Seth. And with that, wrapped up the news, handed it off for a wonderful, I'm sure, a wonderful round one to Quiet Michael.
Yeah, here comes my big long round one, Eric. Starting off with Alexandra Billings.
Oh, Alex, how you doing?
Says that parade could have been an email. Oh, that was the best take this week.
Very good.
Trash Can Paul, listen, Trash Can Paul, friend of the show, Trash Can, what's up?
Hey.
He partnered here with Drunk People Doing Things, which is also Drunk People Doing Things. People may not know this. That's everyone that we know
that does things.
Right. We do know some drunk people who don't do things.
Don't do anything. Yeah.
Picture of a lion with some Marlboro cigarettes and a whole bunch of beers and one mojito cocktail, some kind of cocktail.
Yeah.
And it says in like serious font. For our listeners, this font is very serious. It says, the lion doesn't concern himself with being hungover at work tomorrow. Oh, so this was an interesting article. This is from Chris Dorner-Love, and it's an opinion piece written by Michelle Cottle, and it's dated June 9th, 2025. And it's like some people playing pickleball with like some celestial kind of cloud sun poking through the clouds. There's doves and there's a guy crying in the fore, and he looks like he's from the 70s, and there's some flowers and some butterflies. And it's titled, "Is the Cure to Male Loneliness Assaulting an ICE Agent?" This is kind of wild. Film updates. They have a picture here of Chris Evans and Dakota Johnson. And then they caption the photo, Chris Evans and Dakota Johnson shot by Pedro Pascal. And Polina says, oh my God, I hope they're okay. What the fuck? Because obviously they mean Pedro took the picture. That's what they mean. But then this guy thinks that that they thought that openly gay animals, friend of the show.
Oh yeah. Hey, gay animals.
Happy Pride.
Happy Pride. Hell yeah.
Picture of a sunset, some water and shit. And it says, there's no better karate instructor than a spider web in your face.
Oh,
isn't that so true?
Yeah.
This one's not so much funny, but it is really fucking cool. It's David the Stella says, if MAGA doesn't care that Trump is a convicted felon, then I don't care if any immigrant is here illegally.
Nice.
Oh, this was my favorite meme this week. I wanted to make it my post with the most, but it wasn't my post with the most, but it was my fucking favorite. It's from John Wicker Park at Phony Bone, who says, I've pooped in gas stations you wouldn't even pee in. Put that on my tombstone. And my last meme for round one, the wholesome round,
Yep, ostensibly.
ostensibly wholesome round. This is a conversation on Facebook. It looks like they've blurred out all the images and erased all the names. But the original poster says, "Hey, does it hurt to get a tattoo?" And the first commenter says, "Depend." The first commenter says, "Depends on the area." And then they say, "I'm from Oklahoma." And that's all I got for round one. Kicking it over to brain damage.
Nice.
All right, let's see if I can make some funnies happen. This fucking thing always throws me up. No, my God. Okay. All right, I think I got the right one. Let's see. Let's hope that's working.
Hey, looks good.
Okay. No.
No,
Okay.
I saw it.
Was it the whole page or just one by itself?
One by itself, I thought.
Oh, okay. I guess that was working. It looks very weird to me. It does
Brought to
not
you by
look-
technical difficulties. Tune in each
All right.
week for a brand new one. All bangers. No repeats.
Right. So we're gonna start with laughter is the best medicine because it is.
It
They
is.
posted this and that, and it says somebody named Debbie Bankhead Bowman said after fixing my computer, I overheard my grandson chatting with one of his friends saying it was just an ID 10T error. They both laughed. Not wanting to appear dumb, I walked away and wrote it down on a piece. Wrote the phrase down on a piece of paper. ID 10T spells idiot. He never was my favorite grandkid, anyways.
Nice. That's fun.
Yeah. Now you know how to get past the kid. You ID 10T. Okay. I'm not gonna say that to kids. I'm just gonna mumble it. Transformer fans, roll out! Posted a 3-panel cartoon. 2 guys go to the Natural History Museum. One guy, the little guy, says to his dad, "Whoa, look! It's a dinosaur!" And then you see some dinosaur legs, but then he points over and it is actually Grimlock with Soundwave putting the cassette in. It's me, Grimlock, love this 80s mixtape. Thanks, DairyCon.com. Anytime I get to mention Grimlock and do his voice, I'm putting it in here.
Nice.
My favorite Transformer.
Nice.
Since, Optimus died in the first Transformer movie, made me cry. And the only time I cried in theater, Eric, at 6 years old. Anyways, we're going to not talk about my vulnerabilities. We're going to go to Dopeless Swag. I don't know who that is, but he's got a good point. He says, I hate when people think I'm mad or sad just because I'm quiet. Nah, bro, I'm just on a break from being hilarious.
Yep. The grumblings of a clown.
Yeah. This was called Take These Broken Memes, and I don't know much about either of these two groups, but I'm going to assume this is Destiny's Child with Photoshop versions of Mudvayne, just because of the clues in the meme.
Okay.
Because it says, brr dang, when no one is around you, say, baby, I dig you if you ain't mud and veins. And the caption say Mudvayne, say Mudvayne. Get it, get it, get it, get it, get it.
I only know a couple things in that joke, and I got that.
Yeah, I think it's because Destiny's Child might sing a song that says "Say My Name." Oh,
Yep.
Well, we're gonna go "Say Mudvayne." Gaming memes and grumpy animal memes. Them two motherfuckers have the same profile picture. I think the same guy runs it, but he's trying to post it twice. Hey, I can't hate on people's algorithm workings. Maybe I need to do a brain damage and damage brain. I don't know. Anyways, what duck? Says me, do you want the good news or the bad news first? Wife says, bad. Me, our duck is gonna need a bigger castle. And we see the duck has a bunch of cardboard castles and a crown on his head. But the wife says, we don't even have a duck. Me, about that. Yeah. I've already crowned him, built him a house, but he is upset he needs more castle.
I would play with that duck.
Yeah.
You look cool.
Pause. Passionate penny pincher says the instructor says, welcome to salsa class. Who's ready to learn how to dance? me hiding a bag of tortilla chips. There's been a misunderstanding.
Uh,
I thought this salsa would have green peppers in it. Daily Comics posts a 4-panel cartoon. First panel has alligator son talking to alligator dad. Dad, what video games do you play when I go to bed? Adult games for mature people. I am mature, Dad. I want to see. Dad says, if you insist. And we see that he's playing some kind of game where he's explorer. He's talking to somebody in an RPG type setting. There's some vegetables on the ground. Thanks for the tomato. Son says, it's just a farming and talking. And Dad smiles and says, yes, I'm growing cranberries.
nice.
These are adult games.
Is that Farmville? Is that
Yeah.
Stardew Valley?
Yep. Kane Trujillo says something that we are all thinking, but he said it first, or at least out loud. And it says, I miss the days when AI meant Allen Iverson. Yeah, when they came out with AI, I was like, was that his son? We getting AI Junior? No. No, the 76ers still lost to the Lakers. Anyways. Okay, here we have, I think this one, oh, maybe I got one or two more. Oh my God. Good stubborn. I can't read your artistic signature there, friend. Whoever drew this is a genius, but they didn't code it right.
Oh
So,
my
anyways, the
gosh.
first panel we have a Swiss Army knife walking, but he's walking with all his tools out, flossing, flossing, flossing. Second panel, he runs into a cell phone. Cell phone says, you at least got a calculator on that thing, bro? He's like, what? How about a flashlight? Books, notes, the cloud, camera, the time, a microphone, music. And we see that the Swiss Army knife is sweating balls, and he's very sad now. He's like, I used to be useful. And I think this was the last one for me on this round. Johnny Devaney with Johnny Bones Jones up here. Ah, that wasn't Johnny Bones, was it? I don't think that was. Anyways, I was watching some YouTube video. I think that's Kamaru Usman. We're going to move along. Here we have a poster sign with a dog with somebody super glued a googly eye on that dog silhouette and says, trespassers are welcome. Dog food is getting to be too expensive. And that's it for me. Passing it up. Oh, no, Eric left. Oh, no. He's back.
No, I didn't.
Surprise.
Ta-da! I'm here. I'm here. Excellent. Thank you so much, Brain. Doing my, oh man, where are my buttons? Buttons. How do I lose the buttons? It only takes me a week to forget how to do the show, which I think is hilarious. Doing the allegedly, apparently, round one. First up, the Laughing Librarian has a post from Daphne Hammond, and it is a gravestone. It says, "Here lies," parentheses, underscore, not, quote, lays, parentheses, "here lies, not lays, Billy Woody Robbins Reed, English teacher." Cemetery statues and headstones just said, "For the grammarians among us," and we're all like, yes. Jada Mitchell, friend of the show, Jada Mitchell says, we're going to discuss this later when they're not watching, has a post from an owl with it wearing a tie that says Chuch, C-H-U, Chooch, maybe, W-C-H-W-C-H. Says, wonder how many times we tell ghost stories and the ghosts around us are like, I never said that shit. Not even telling it right. Best and worst of Twitter, friend of the show, James Madwack, has posted this from Dr. Z Esquire at Zeynep my Inise. I don't care. Says, my brother just sprinted into my room yelling, open Google Translate and typed this in, and I cannot believe it is real. In Hindi, poopin, shartin, fartin, full terms and conditions in English. Poopin, shartin, fartin in Hindi means full terms and conditions. At Trauma Redler says, no way I just agreed to poopin, shartin, fartin without reading. I miss you, TD. This is a discussion on Craigslist. Hi, this is Dan with the aluminum LS1 on Craigslist. Yes, it is. Would you take $200 cash for it today? 250, it's yours. 225, 230, and a 10-piece McNuggets. That is the best counter offer I've ever heard. What kind of sauce do you want? This was posted in Entomology. Mark Creasy posted this one June 15th, and I don't know if this is helpful for anyone. Dear Kevin, please come over for gay sex. And if you take the first letter of each one of them, it's domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. Yep, that's right. Dear Kevin, please come over for gay sex. You're welcome. That's probably going to make the clip there. Thank you, Entomology. I mean, I'm going to add laughter because you fuckers have your mics off. Piece of shit. Best and worst. Best and worst of Twitter, too, has a post from Jamie Morello. And we apparently have a tourist. I believe this name is Japanese, but I could be wrong. Maki Ito. At _ Maki Ito. Or say at Maki _ Ito. My God. We have a picture of a Japanese girl. She's got some kind of styly pants on, kind of baggy. They got some white lettering on them or something, matching black hoodie. She's got her fingers in the air and pigtails, big smile. She's pointing upwards because she is in front of the Waffle House. And Maki Ito has captioned it, I went to the Waffle House for the first time to see a fight, but nothing happened. Friend of the show, Arm Joy, says, if you notice a foreign tourist in a Waffle House, it is your American duty to start a fist fight to ensure they get the whole experience. Now you know. No, of course, over the weekend, it was Father's Day, so here's a picture of a sour-looking Elon Musk, and middle-aged Riot has said, below, Elon Musk waiting in vain for one of his 14 children to call him on Father's Day. That was posted in Guillotines for Better America. And if you're not following Guillotines for Better America, I don't know how you're planning anything. And finally, for the allegedly first round, America's cultural decline into idiocy has this post from friend of the show, Joe the Animal. Joe, seriously, the Joe the Animal, our Joe the Animal, literally friend of the show. This is a sign in a convenience store. I like that it's in front of the moonshine. If you haven't had Old Smoky moonshine, that is a thing you can get in the grocery stores in a rainbow of colors. But the sign says, no warranty, please test before you leave the store. That is actually in front of the Trojans. No warranty, please test. There you have my ostensibly and allegedly round one.
All right, here we go. Round two, the ostensibly second round.
Oh my God, it is, isn't it?
I know,
Allegedly.
I don't know where I got this one from, but it said, oh, actually I do. TD sent me this. It's a picture of Tyrion Lannister sipping wine. And it says, when your friends come to you for spiritual advice and the devil's lettuce, and Tyrion says, that's what I do. I smoke the grass and know the things. Tim Whitaker speaks, retweets Allie Beth Stuckey. She says, quote unquote, I grew up evangelical. I know exactly how they think. So she's quoting that. And then she says, then proceeds to spew the most inaccurate, illogical, biblically illiterate take you've ever heard in your life. Tim Whitaker speaks says, who's going to tell her? Biggest cell phone I've ever seen.
Huh.
Point here being that the most inaccurate, illogical, biblically illiterate take you've ever heard is the evangelical take that we grew up with.
There are notes of wow.
There's this picture of this. I don't even know what to call him. He's like a troll, maybe, or
I don't know, some kind of metal Viking thing with horns.
Not human.
He's demonic.
Like a knight, like a demon,
some kind of minotaur demon, something.
Yeah. Anyway,
Cool.
it's behind a tweet from Kubo Zoan, who says, "Sorry for having a huge cock and correct opinions on everything, as if it's my
Yeah.
fault." Skoog at Skoog, friend of the show, Skoog says,
Oh,
after
it's good.
Pumbaa suffers a fatal heart attack. Okay, so that's the setup. Pumbaa has suffered a fatal heart attack. Timon sobbing, "Oh God, why?" Simba, LOL, Hakuna Matata, buddy. Timon, it's quiet. Simba goes, "Remember that? Remember when you told me that after my dad was fucking murdered?" Biggest, gaudiest Patronuses says, "You get transformed into a badass, messed up werewolf while your servants get transformed into goddamn furniture. That's classism." And Learn Your Lessons Well says, "You're right. But also, I am very tired and would give anything to just be a bookshelf right now." And the original poster says, "This comment actually made me completely revise my opinion, actually." You see where we're at. Got 3 more. Oh no. Stuck in this now.
Oh no.
This is the meme we're stuck with, guys. Hang on, I can do this. I can't do it.
Whoa.
There we go. I quite like it that way. Says, I always hated Scar when I was little, but now I realize I am Scar. We have 6 clips from the movie here. In the first, Scar says, "Must have slipped my mind." And in the next one, Scar says, "Oh, I shall practice my curtsy."
Mhm.
And then in the next one, Simba's bugging Scar, and Simba says, "When I'm king, what'll that make you?" And Scar says, "A monkey's uncle."
Mm.
Then Simba says, "You're so weird." Scar says, "You have no idea." Then last 2, Scar says, "Well, forgive me for not leaping for joy. Bad back, you know." And then finally he just says, "I'm surrounded by idiots." Scar is very relatable, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Step
Yep.
Steve, reluctantly, he is a friend of ours. He
Hey,
says,
Steve.
"First day as a vampire hunter. This is easy, LOL. First night as a vampire hunter. Oh no." And my last meme for round 2, the second round, has 2 pictures here. And it says, "An AI shows what Jack Dawson would look like if he hadn't died on the Titanic." And on the left, we see young Leonardo DiCaprio as Jack Dawson. And on the right, we just see Leonardo DiCaprio circa 2025. That's all I have for round 2. Kicking it over to you, Brain.
I actually contemplating grabbing that one, and I think that's a trend. I've seen a few of those going around now. So kudos to you, because I didn't
So
end up
silly.
getting it. And then later, so there's sometimes I'm like, should I get this one? And then I don't get it, and then I'll see other ones that relate to it later, and I'm like, where was it? Where was it? You never find it again, ever,
Mhm.
And
until
that
someone else
happens to
does
me.
it.
Yeah, I'll start.
And
I'll start trying to remember who sent it to me. I'll be like, somebody sent it to me. Okay, I start going through my messages and shit.
Yep. All right. So apparently I was drinking beer with Diane, my wife, in 2016. I said Game 6 and Copa America quarterfinals. Yeah. Go Ecuador and Warriors. And here we have the old school alarm clock that everybody had
Yep.
with the black screen, the red
Yep.
numbers, and the wooden grain top. And it just says beer 30. That's what time it is.
You're 30.
Fun fact, I'm allergic to beer now. I can't do beer 30 no
Oh
more.
no.
It's wine 30. Yeah, who the fuck gets allergic to beer? How you gonna be a self-respecting alcoholic? Anyways, I'm gonna move on. LOL Hawaii 2, new friend of the show, or something like that. Maybe I'm his friend. I don't know. I want to get to know this guy.
Okay.
Hawaiian Nopi. And Rob posted, I just had an American energy drink, and at first I was happy to get out from under Canada's BS nanny state caffeine restrictions, but honestly, I'm extremely fucked up now and practically disassociating. How do you people live like this?
Mhm.
And Christy just says, it's what we have instead of healthcare.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
That's how we do it.
We're
we
number
try to
one.
make it funny. It's really depressing, but we'll try to make it funny to pretend it is. Anyways, we're back to laughter is the best medicine.
Yes, it is.
And Deslita Marhasi or something like that says that they were at a job interview today when the manager handed me a laptop and said, "I want you to try to sell this to me." So I put it under my arm and left the building and went home. Eventually, he called me back and said, "Bring my laptop back now." I said, $200 and it's yours.
Winner.
Laughter is the best medicine. And Desalita Marhasi again. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. You'll probably never see this anyways. During my job interview yesterday, the interviewer asked, "Why do you think I should give you this job?" I replied, "Because my best friend Dave works in your IT department and he told me that you're having an affair with your secretary. So you should definitely give me this job."
Mm.
Yeah, or else I'm snitching. What the fuck memes? And James Coleman posted the picture of that meme cat, the white fluffy cat with the big black eyes and his arms out like, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah, weird.
And he says, "I've never understood the concept of bullying. Like, why the fuck are you mad at me? Because I'm ugly." Friend of the show, lovely Corey Showtime Robinson. Probably shouldn't have called him lovely. Pause. And somebody named Rachel Warner and Lucy Steiner at the Steinberg, or Steinbag, excuse me. Not accusing her of being a berg. Because then, that's associating with ice, and we don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? All right. Shouts out to icebergs. They sink Titanics, but they're not the ice. Anyways, they said this is a true fucking fact. And it says, every bartender I've ever met is better at de-escalating conflict than the police. Yeah.
Yep.
We need better
Hey,
de-escalation.
Michael, you used to be a bartender, right?
Honestly, bartending, so many skills I learned in that job that I still use all the time. Not only because you do have the de-escalation, but the other thing you learn as a bartender, and you learn it really quick, is to how to hold a boundary. When you say, "That's it, no more," because let me tell you something. Every bartender, you've known you should cut somebody off, and you didn't cut them off, and they fucking puke on your bar. And guess who cleans it up? And so after that, you're like, no, guy. I know we go way back. You got to get the fuck out of here because I am not cleaning that up.
I will call your fucking wife right now if you don't get the fuck out of here.
I'm telling you. So now much different job I have now. Now when I say something and it's unpopular, I'm like, yeah, you don't understand where I come from. I'm not budging on this. You will find me to be inflexible.
Nice. Coincidence?
Awesome.
Coincidence? Perhaps.
I love that we learned that on Facebook. See, we're dropping knowledge in here. The ultimate 80s page has just a picture of a cast iron frying pan with a fried egg on it. But it says in 1987, I learned that this was not an egg.
Nope.
No.
That's your brain on drugs.
That was your brain on drugs. Yeah. Because we knew the brain was the whole egg. Once you cracked it and started frying it, it was on the drugs. This one's specifically...
Fun fact, a lot of times in the 80s when I saw that commercial, I got really hungry. Like really hungry. Like I really wanted some brains on my brain on drugs.
And I never liked fried eggs, so I was like, you know what? I'm going to try drugs when I get older. I'm going to try drugs.
Looks delicious.
Fried eggs are terrible and scrambled eggs are delicious, so I don't know. But my drug was weed, and luckily that one wasn't too bad. Anyways, the Real Frisco and Bayway, apparently they sent this one straight to you, Eric. It says, calling me Zaddy ain't gonna make me pay no zinner, no zicker, no zales, no zashes, no zills. And just so you know, just a humble brag, Michael, the week that you weren't here, I actually cut him off on when he said Zaddy. One time I got it. I got it one time.
Brain. We got to keep him straight and narrow over here.
Yeah.
You guys talking about how George, our founding Zaddy?
No, we're not doing that. No matter how many times you try to fucking sneak it in.
Right. It says, well, I thought it was funny, and Lizzie Grin posted a 4-panel of Elvis Presley Etch-a-Sketched.
Oh.
First one, shows Hound Dog, and he's sketched in there pretty good with some nice shading in the background. Then we have him when he's younger with his slick back hair in the Jailhouse Rock video or movie or whatever that is. Then the third panel has him with a leather jacket, Love Me Tender. And the fourth panel is blank, labeled All Shook Up. Yeah.
Etch a
Because how did you
sketch
erase an
pun.
essence sketch?
Yep.
You had to shake it up. All
Yep.
right. That one was just nostalgia purposes. And I think this is the last one for me. My username is fart too long to be practical at far user. And two panel says half an orange on your cat's head makes a great budget Eye of Sauron. And we see the Eye of Sauron in the tower. And here on the left, we see a black cat with a half an orange on its head.
It's true.
And I posted this one as life hack.
Yep.
But now I need to borrow somebody's black cat. Oh, man. Nobody let me borrow their black cat.
I'm surprised there's not a rental agency nearby.
Right.
Cat.
Why can't you just rent a cat? I just need a cat for the day.
Right.
I just need somebody to fuck up my day and then just purr at the end. And you know what? You're actually too cute to be mad at.
Uber cats. Uber
Yeah.
cats. I don't know why that doesn't exist. All right, kicking off my allegedly second round with a post from friend of the show, Christian Yanakis, who says, I want to gag, I want to choke, I want you to touch that dangly little thing that swings in the back of my throat. I don't know what the hell that she's talking about. Oh. I don't know. That's her caption, but the meme just says, bottomless breadsticks implies the existence of topless breadsticks, and now I'm hungry and horny at this Olive Garden. Thank you, Kristen. Friend of the show, Brent Terhune, second appearance in the show, I think, says, all the states that got denied disaster relief watching Trump send the Marines to L.A. And it's that guy from The Office just going, sort of the angry eyes with the attempt to smile, grimace type thing. Yeah, so anyway, $134 million. Sure could have helped a lot of folks, I'd reckon. Here, I captioned this one, the special relationship, because I see the British Prime Minister picking up all the papers that our Mango Mussolini just dropped. This big, beautiful blank dropped him on the ground, and the British guy is down almost on his knees, cleaning up the American president's mess. Carl Hansen says, this photo says more about British foreign policy than 1,000 op-eds ever could. I was just like, yeah, special relationship. So anyway, here in FB4tB, a weekly meme cast, and if you're not following FB4tB, a weekly meme cast, where are you getting your memes? Has this picture of a cop with his palms out, sort of, his arms spread. It says, when you cultivate a culture of us versus them for years, and now most people are against you. And it's captioned, confused oinking. Thank you, Punk Rock Homesteading, for that post of the confused cop going, hey, confused oinking. Why is that? Anyway, Gavin Newsom is not a friend of the show. I would like to be clear that I'm not going into it, but Gavin Newsom, for whatever, but he has been going at it with some of the people in the admin, and that has been worth it. Gavin Newsom, they said that maybe that they should, I think it was Mike Johnson in the Congress said that they should get Gavin Newsom and tar and feather him. He says, good to know we're skipping the arrest and going straight for the 1700s style forms of punishment. A fitting threat, giving the GOP want to bring our country back to the 18th century. And that was pretty fun. Now, meanwhile, arch, pundit freak and former Russian. Do you remember when there was all that money that Russia paid these pundits to say crap, bad stuff about Ukraine and good stuff? Anyway, this is Benny Johnson. He was one of those guys who was getting all those millions of dollars for doing nothing. He says, Donald Trump Jr. says Tom Homan should arrest Gavin Newsom for working against ICE and Trump's deportations because, quote, no one is above the law. No one is above the law unless you're a leftist. In this country, no one is above the law. Got to make sure we enforce that law, which is hilarious given who they simp for. And Gavin Newsom reposted it and said promo code arrest for 15% off your Trump phone. And Cutlar said, Gavin Newsom, I love this side of you. Ali Ritz says, Newsom trolling them is the best thing ever. And Vic Walters like, Felon 47 should be the first one on the list of not above the law. Then you can go talk about, the plank in somebody else's eye, spec boys, or the speck in somebody else's eye. Emily P. Frank says Gavin Newsom is sitting in that governor's mansion, swirling a 1947 vintage red blend and absolutely salivating at the thought of being ceremoniously arrested by the Trump administration. Because he is. He's just like, oh, yeah. I mean, I'm sure he has cameras. He feels like the kind of guy who has cameras. Anti-QAnon meme says this, hashtag Epstein file, still a hot topic. The Halfway Post says, breaking, Donald Trump was reportedly demanding his lawyers sue Elon Musk for calling him a pedophile until his lawyers pointed out that it would require a jury seeing the unredacted Epstein files. Guillotines for a Better America making the second appearance in the show with this picture of a frog with a gun and a guillotine. And this has been posted by Frog Spotting. It says, no tyrants, no kings, guillotine and gun. And the frog says, hippity hoppity, kings get the choppity, which coincidentally was my high school punk rock band. So we are in sync with the universe and in touch with the zeitgeist. And I'm sure lots of other things that sound like exotic foods. Moving on, here we have a picture. Oh, Guillotines for a Better America, the group, which is slightly different. And if you're not in that group. Anyway, Ty has posted this picture of a gorgeous woman in a red, white, and blue American flag tank top and hat like the Uncle Sam posters, but she is pointing at us and looking us in the eye, and it says, horny local singles want you to seize the means of production. And comrades, I think it might be true. Got about two more here. Anti-QAnon memes. Friend of the show, Joe Kleinschmidt, has pasted along this distracted boyfriend meme with the girl in red going by, and it says, made up stuff on Facebook. The red MAGA hat conservatives boy looking at the made up stuff on Facebook, while his girlfriend is a 10-second Google search. A 10-second Google search could dissuade you from believing this nonsense of made up stuff on Facebook. And I commented, I seriously feel this one deeply at least twice a day, every day. In my soul, I'm just screaming, look it up. It was a lie. And need to let it out. Need to let it go. And lastly, here we have a post from the best and worst of Twitter too, from Clark Betts at Dove Nymph. Ooh, cool two-tone hair, like blonde on one side and dark on the other side. Says, vibrator died in the middle of using it, so now I have to use my fingers like a cave woman. Says, I am so mad, I don't even want to nut anymore. Good night. And then later, I gave up, by the way. I'm not playing no acoustic pussy. Which, that's, that wraps up my ostensibly interstitial round 2. Handing it back to you, Quiet Michael.
All right, here we go. Round 3, the penultimate round.
Oh, yes.
So this is a picture of a gal wearing a shirt. She looks like Snapchat or something because it says, told my boyfriend I wanted a cute shirt. This is not what I had in mind. And the shirt says, call me Roy G. Biv because I am visibly on the spectrum. No, you guys don't get it? Do you guys know what Roy G. Biv is?
Yeah, I get it.
I don't. What's Roy G. Biv?
Be honest, I wasn't really sure about this one either.
It's an acronym that stands for the colors in the visible spectrum: red, orange, yellow,
Green, blue,
yeah,
indigo, and violet.
I'm surprised you even saw that joke, Michael.
I could only read the words. Slay at Girl Ideas. She says, what if instead of having silences, Ambulance has just played Move, Bitch, Get Out the Way by Ludacris.
I mean, we should test that.
Here's a picture of John Cena looking like pleasantly interested, I would say. And it's captioned, "The genie, when he grants me a sixth wish out of sheer curiosity, and I wish for a sixth beer." This, listen, this has got to be AI generated or something because it's too fucking perfect. This is a little girl who's dressed like a Mennonite girl.
Mhm.
She's talking to a little boy who's got a cigarette in his mouth. He looks like he can't be a day over 10 years old. He's got
Right.
a fresh mullet.
Yep.
He's wearing a bomber that says, "Don't California my Tennessee." And in the background, we see a fucking race car going by and it says, "Spring is going to feel like this." I have no idea what that means.
Romspringer?
Maybe. Trash Can Paul's back. 3 rounds in a row.
Hey, Paul.
Got a picture of probably an actor, but TD's not here, so we don't know who it is. And it says, "Worst fears. Number 1,
Oh,
being
that's Christian Bale.
Christian, yeah, I was
Hey, way to
pretty sure
call
that's
it
Christian
Mary.
Bale.
It's got to be Christian Bale from a long time ago.
Yeah, he looks very young.
Worst fears. Number 1, being employed. Number 2, being unemployed. Drunk Coyotes says they have this picture. This is like a screen grab from a text message. Drunk Coyotes comments, "Getting bodied in the family group chat." And it's a picture of like what looks like vacation on a beach, and it says, quote unquote, "I'm not autistic," as he walks away to go take a picture of the cargo ship. Hey Eric, will you do this one for us?
Sure. Let's see. It's that blue Sonic the Hedgehog, I'm gonna say, except this Sonic the Hedgehog is ripped. He has an 8-pack, I believe, and enormous pecs. He's getting out of the shower with a towel around his waist, and he says, "Are you frying chicken, baby?" Ha, just kidding. You make a lot of noise when you pee. I like that. That is weird. You're not making these into clips to embarrass me with years from now, are you? It feels like maybe.
This is my last meme for round 3, the penultimate round. It's from subreddit No Stupid Questions. And this guy says, "If I had a jar of hornets and I walked into a store with them and I told the cashier to give me something for free or I'd open the jar, could they have me arrested?" And the first comment says, "Yes, you're robbing them." It's been downvoted 3,799 times, the original poster. The comment was upvoted 8.1 thousand times. And that's it for my round 3 penultimate round, leaving only my post with the most. But what is that I hear? Is that a timer? That's right. It's after 10 o'clock. I'm going straight into my post with the most. This week, my post with the most, truly. I mean, of course, I always tell the truth. But this week, even more truthfully than usual, which is usually I'm perfectly truthful. This is even more than that. This was my post with the most. It's not a meme. It's not from some other account that just posts things all the time. This is from my church in Nashville where I attended. And it's my home church, always will be. It's Vine Street Christian Church, Disciples of Christ. They chose this week to put on their sign this scripture: "Do no wrong or violence to the immigrant." Jeremiah 22. And I just deeply, deeply appreciate their timing and courage. So shout out to Vine Street. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing coming from me from this show. I'm sitting in love.
None of us
That's
do.
all I have this week. Love you, boys. Love you, George.
Love you, buddy.
Love
See
you
ya.
too.
Kicking it over to Brain.
All right. Let's jumpstart this with what is this? Something's blocking my view. Okay, Native Souls.
Ooh,
This is a cartoon from looks like Scott Hilburn.
very
Long
nice.
time no see. And it's just a cartoon, and they're in some kind of office. There's a secretary at the desk sipping some tea, and there's a woman crying on a man's chest. And then the man says, "Chelsea, Miss Gray is here to pick up her husband's remains. I left them on your desk." And Chelsea's tea, we see Chelsea is all of a sudden
Oh
has an
no.
eye twitch because there's a box labeled Earl Grey on her desk, and apparently there's a pot of hot water, and Chelsea is actually drinking Mr. Grey. Oh God, that's got to be a little harsh. And this one is strange and pretty things people actually put in their wills. And this one said it was to the wording except for the names. And says this woman, when she died, says, "To my daughter Anne, who created my beautiful granddaughter Jane, and her dear fourth husband John, who laid hands on my Jane, I leave $1, you money grubbing bastards. To Jane, I leave all of my monetary assets, save $5,000 and my best gun, which I leave to my son Bill, on the condition that he beats John bloody during the time between my funeral and my burial. Jane, bail your uncle out of jail, please." Yeah, I'm fucking with grandma.
I kind of like it.
Frisco comedian Jamar Pitch posted the real baklava, and here we have a picture of some kind of jet fighter plane. And along
F-22.
the picture, it just says World War I, World War II. And then there's a red arrow that is very near. It says, "You are here to World War III.
Oh.
Then after that, we have Two War, World War, Tokyo Drift, World and War, World 7, War 8. Yeah, that's the way we're going. Soon to be World War III, and then we're just on a fast and furious track of world wars from there on out. Anyways, we have Watch Them Thrones posted. This is a 2-panel, and it says, "Man played his part so well, I know for a fact I can't trust him in real life." And here we have the actor. I don't know his name, but he played Peter Baelish, aka Littlefinger, on Game of Thrones, and he played Mayor Carcetti on The Wire. And yes,
Wow.
both of those roles were this dude was very good at, and I know for sure I can't trust him in real life. And here we have the comic 4-panel, and we have a woman talking to maybe, I don't know, some kind of screen, maybe a Max Headroom or something, and she's or just a prompter. And she says, "Starting today, our company will be run entirely by an AI CEO." And everybody on the Zoom meeting in their offices, they're like, "You can't let AI be in charge of a huge corporation." They're mad. One guy says, "Imagine a soulless entity could make a decision to fire thousands of employees simply to save the company a few dollars." Oh. And she says, "Exactly, but now without the $33 million salary." Yeah. Yeah, he figured out quick that doesn't matter if it's AI or not, those bastards are doing that same thing. The skeptic has the 2-panel where the train's coming and the school bus is slightly on the tracks. School bus is labeled, but legally he can't do that.
Oh,
Second pan, the train smashes through that school bus and it says, "Does it illegally."
right.
And I bet we know who he's talking about.
Yep.
Anyways, pretend that this is a good name. It says, "Old people be like, 'No elbows on the table, it's rude.' And then they say something racist." That's true. I don't see who posted this cartoon, but it is a cartoon of two what would we call these? Film strip negatives, the old school film strips that used to have to take to the, you used to put it in water in a dark red room, leave it for a few hours. There's a cigarette burning, a beer. The female one's got a shot. She's got lipsticks on her lashes, and her eyes are all bubbly. And the male one says, "How about you and I find a dark room and see what develops?" Young people don't get that joke. Rock from Helter Skelter posts, "Get your ass out of here, man. Pause protest." And it's just him throwing up a shaka sign, but his face is like, "What?" And behind him, they somebody did not market this right, because apparently there are 2 stores, one named Dickman's and one named Meat, and it just says Dickman's Meat.
Wow.
And yeah, Rock, I get that face. And comedian Mike E. Winfield, one of my favorites.
Oh,
posted up.
Mike. Hey, yeah.
I went to an award show. I should try to do this in his voice. I went to no, I don't. I got no Mikey Winfield voice, but fuck it, I'm a butchered. I went to an award show and I was showing out on the red carpet until they asked me who I was wearing. Oh, this Tony Jenkins Max? You mean TJ Maxx? Yeah. All right, that was not Mikey Winfield
I'd
type
do
of
that.
voice. Oh, actually, that one's the last one for me. Only leaving my post at the most.
Nice.
See what you got, Eric.
I am excited to do the penultimate round. This is a banger. They're always bangers. They're all bangers. As you know, no repeats, all bangers. That is the theme of the show. We've mentioned our brother, Andrew Tini. He posted this little picture of a kid in a yellow t-shirt in high school, looks like. And it's captioned, I'm just going to say it. People hate pineapple on pizza because of the internet. And Tini's like, I said what I said. I was like, yeah, I mean, no lies detected. Friend of the show, Joe the Animal, making the second appearance in the show, says crotchless panties are the most impractical and irrelevant piece of lingerie out there. Lingerie is supposed to tease, hide, and hint at what's behind. These do the exact opposite. Just frame your bits into superfluous material that just has to be removed, or if left on, it just gets in the way. Besides that, they provide absolutely no support for your balls. Joe the Animal, ladies and gentlemen. The Laughing Librarian has this post from Aster at Asterisms, who says, when Mary Shelley wrote, quote, I have love in me the likes of which you can scarcely imagine, and rage the likes of which you would not believe. If I cannot satisfy the one, I will indulge the other. God, I really felt that. That's for all you rage queens out there. Okay, and friend of the show, Mark Anthony up in Chicago, has a quote from Speaker Johnson. Gavin Newsom is naughty. He needs to be stripped of his clothes fully, or at least from the waist up. Yes, and I'll take my brush and oil up his glistening beanie muscles. Yes, and then I'll grab my crafting supplies and feather him up like the silly little goose that he is. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, referring to Gavin Newsom there. Friend of the show, What Fuckery Is This? Has a post from Anne-Marie Pine that says a little narrative here. Got a picture of a woman, Margaret, 36. It says, so I matched my professor on Tinder. And the exchange goes, hey, I'm in your Wednesday lecture, LOL. And she says, I'm well aware of who you are, name. She says, I'll dick you down for an A in class. Yeah. And she says, excuse me. He says, so chapter 2 is due next class. Teacher. Yeah. So anyway, that was fun. Here we got a picture done in the Gone with the Wind style. We got, people on horses and old plantations, and, a woman in an old style dress leaned over. And then we noticed that it's actually Lauren Boebert, and she's being leaned over by Kid Rock, and it says gonorrhea with the wind. Costa Meme Bureau says they're updating this Southern epic with Kid Rock. Gonorrhea with the wind. Okay. Friend of the show, Mark Anthony, again, commenting on Elon here, saying, I regret some of my posts about President at real Donald Trump last week. They went too far. And Kevin Kellum says, got all that money, but can't have a backbone. And Mark Anthony says, the guy forgot to get a pardon before stealing Stephen Miller's wife and headbutting some other loser. I like that guy. Hey, a year ago, I had this movie quote that I followed at Casual Thursday. Says, 10 years from now, you'll put on a jacket and find a mask in the pocket. And you'll think, oh, man, what a weird year that was. And you'll chuckle to yourself. Then you'll pick up your machete and continue across the wasteland, keeping to the shadows to avoid the roving gangs of cannibal raiders. I like it. It's like a little short story from a year ago. Moving on. Best and worst of Twitter 2 with Akib Hussein has a post from Cuck Philosophy at Philosophy Cuck. Communism obviously can't work Because if things are free, people take more of everything than they need. For example, I have free water at my house, so I just leave all the taps on and keep drinking and drinking until I develop hyponatremia. It's human nature, buddy. Hashtag communism obviously is going to fail. This is a weird memory from 2 years ago on Instagram. It's a picture of a guy and he's crouching, sort of looking at a tiger, freaking out. And this is a memory from 2 years. The guy's crouching from a tiger, says, you know what to do. Number one, remember that tigers are simply made up of atoms and various biochemical reactions. He's thinking it's just a bunch of atoms and biochemical reactions. So yeah, I'm not gonna read the rest of it. Here's a post from the single woman. Says the problem with mistakes is that sometimes they are really good kissers. Single woman captioned it, sigh. Got a couple more here. Friend of the show, Christian Yanakis, has this picture of a man with a really red face and a head like a thumb, like a potato, really, sticking out of his collar there. And it says, I don't mind the gays, but they better not come flirt with me. Yeah, that's a familiar vibe there. Tito says, my theory is they are far deep in the closet, LOL. Or maybe they're just an insecure potato. And this, of course, is brought to you by Taco Fell. Bong. And that is everything except my post with most. Handing it back to you, Brain.
All right. Let's get this. Okay, this one I posted myself a few years ago. I think it said last year. And it is a diagram of a brain that says actual image inside my AUDHD brain. And the frontal lobe is called Don't Be Awkward. And it's Astro Star self-talk. What is that little star called again? Anyways.
Asterisk, self-talk.
Asterisk, yeah. And then there's a little groove in here that says puns.
Oh my God,
memes,
this is your brain. This is totally your brain.
Song lyrics and movie quotes. The back lobe is don't trip over stuff. Yeah. The bottom lobe is righty tighty lefty loosey.
Yep.
And then right there in the middle is 5,000 hypothetical. Fuck. See, I can't even read right. Hypothetical arguments. 5,000 hypothetical arguments I'll never have, and 4,488 of those are with myself. Let's see what you got, Eric.
Oh man, good times. Absolutely. I love doing this show. That is fantastic. That really was your brain. I felt like I was going there.
Right.
Like Fantastic Voyage. My post with the most this week was this lovely painting, looks like possibly from a children's book or something, of a cicada with great big red bug eye eyes sitting on a leaf. And it's captioned, "Come, friend, scream with us." A lot of people resonated with that one. Ladies and gentlemen, that fully constitutes a holy and legal complete, according to, if you read in the fine print of your terms and conditions, episode of Facebook for the Blind for June 17th, 2025. We love you. Mwah.
Yeah.
Woo! Love you, Beverly.
Love you, Beverly.
Thanks for listening to an episode of Facebook for the Blind. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.